Princess Lyra sat quietly in her room, surrounded by the beautiful things of her royal life, but she felt an emptiness that no amount of jewels or silks could fill. Her palace was grand, with shimmering walls and gardens that stretched endlessly, under the twin suns of her home planets, Xanthara. Yet, despite all this beauty, she felt distant from everyone around her. Not long ago, her best friend Ethan, a human from Earth, had come to Xanthara on a diplomatic mission. They had shared laughter, adventures, and dreams under the stars. But after a few weeks, Ethan had to return home, leaving Lyra with a heavy heart. She missed him dearly, and the silence of her room felt louder than ever. Lyra gazed out the window, at the stars twinkling in the night sky. Each star reminded her of the moments they had shared, their secret stargazing spots, and the stories they had exchanged. She wanted so badly to reach out to him, to feel connected again. But how could she? She was a princess, and he was on a different planet, living a life far away from hers. That days turned into weeks, and each passing moment deepened her sadness. The palace felt even more isolating, without Ethan's laughter echoing through the halls. Lyra knew she had to find a way to reconnect with him. She picked up her communicator, a small device that allowed her to send messages across the galaxy, but she hesitated. What would she say? Would he even want to hear from her? The thought of rejection stung. She remembered how some people in her court treated her differently because of her disability. They saw her wheelchair as a weakness, a reason to pity her. She feared that Ethan might feel the same way, that he had moved on and left her behind. But deep down, she knew she had to try. With a deep breath, she typed a message. Ethan, I miss you. I hope you are well. Can we talk? Her fingers trembled as she pressed the send button, and she immediately felt a mix of hope and anxiety. Would he reply? Days passed, and Lyra felt her heart race every time she checked her communicator. Finally, a notification pinged, and she rushed to read it. Lyra, I miss you too. I've been thinking about you every day. Can we video chat? The excitement bubbled inside her as she quickly set up for the call. She chose a quiet corner of her room, adorned with colorful flowers that Ethan had once admired. When the screen lit up, there he was smiling, his eyes bright with joy. Lyra, he exclaimed, his voice warm and familiar. You look amazing. Lyra felt her cheeks flush. Thank you. I've missed you so much. I missed you too. It's been hard without our adventures, Ethan said, his gaze sincere. How have you been? As they talked, Lyra opened up about her feelings of loneliness and the distance that had grown between them. She told him about the challenges she faced as a princess and how people sometimes treated her differently because of her disability. To her surprise, Ethan listened without judgment, offering words of encouragement. Lyra, you're so much more than your wheelchair. You're strong and inspiring, he said. I wish everyone could see that. Tears filled Lyra's eyes as she felt warmth spread through her. Ethan's words lifted her spirits, reminding her of her worth. They talked for hours, sharing stories about their lives, dreams, and hopes for the future. For the first time in weeks, Lyra felt truly connected again. As their conversation drew to a close, Ethan looked at her with a serious expression. Lyra, I want to come back. I want to help you and your people. You deserve to be seen and celebrated for who you are. Lyra's heart raced. You really mean that? Absolutely. You've inspired me more than you know. I want to stand by your side, whether it's on Earth or Xanthara. In that moment, Lyra felt a spark of hope igniting within her. The distance that had once felt insurmountable now seemed conquerable. They could create a future together, one where boundaries didn't matter. She could be the leader she was meant to be, with Ethan's support. Thank you, Ethan. Lyra sighed, her voice soft. You've given me so much hope. After their call, Lyra felt lighter. She began to share her ideas with her people, advocating for inclusivity and understanding. Inspired by her friendship with Ethan, she organized events to celebrate diversity, encouraging others to embrace their uniqueness. Little by little, she noticed a change in her court. People began to see her in a new light, recognizing her strength and resilience. As the days turned into weeks, Ethan worked tirelessly to return to Xanthara. He gathered resources and connections, determined to support Lyra and her vision. Their bond grew stronger, transcending the distance between worlds. Finally, a day came when Ethan stepped off the ship, his eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on Lyra. She rushed to him, her heart pounding with joy. They embraced, feeling the warmth of their connection wash over them. "I'm here," he whispered, pulling back to look into her eyes. "I'm not going anywhere." In that moment, Lyra realized that love and friendship could bridge any gap. No one had wanted her before, but now she had Ethan by her side, ready to face the challenges ahead. Together, they would inspire others to see beyond appearances, proving that true worth lies in the heart. As they stood together under the stars, Lyra knew she was no longer alone. With Ethan's love and support, she was ready to embrace her role as a leader, making a difference not just for herself, but for everyone who felt distant and alone. In that moment, she understood. Love could conquer all, and hope would always light the way. As the days passed since Ethan returned to Xanthara, Princess Lyra felt a sense of purpose growing within her. Their conversations had reignited a spark of hope in her heart. But even with Ethan by her side, she often felt the weight of distance creeping back in. While he had come to support her, the challenges of her royal duties and the expectations of her people sometimes made her feel isolated. Lyra spent her days in the palace, working hard to implement her ideas for inclusivity and understanding. She organized gatherings and events to celebrate the unique qualities of each individual in her kingdom. However, the pressure of her responsibilities often left her feeling overwhelmed. She missed the simplicity of their talks when Ethan had been in the palace, where they could share ideas freely without the burden of expectations. One evening, after a long day of meetings, Lyra sat in her garden, watching the flowers sway gently. In the breeze, the moonlight illuminated the petals, casting a soft glow around her. She pulled out her communicator, wanting to reach out to Ethan, but hesitated. What if he was busy? What if he didn't want to talk? Taking a deep breath, she reminded herself of the connection they shared. She typed a message. "Hey Ethan, can we talk? I could really use your advice." She pressed send, hoping he would reply soon. Minutes felt like hours as she waited. Just as she was about to give up, her communicator pinged. "Of course. I'm here for you. Let's video chat." Lyra quickly set up the call, excitement bubbling in her chest. When the screen lit up, she saw Ethan's familiar face, and her heart soared. "Hey, Lyra, you look great," he said, his smile wide. "Thanks. I've been working on those events we talked about," she said, her voice brightening. "But it's harder than I thought. People have so many expectations, and sometimes I feel like I'm losing myself in all of it." Ethan nodded, his expression serious. "I get it. You're trying to make a difference, and that's tough. But remember, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. You're not alone in this." Lyra felt a wave of relief wash over her. "I just want to make sure everyone feels valued. Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting against a wall." "You're doing amazing things, Lyra. Change takes time, and you have to give yourself grace," he said. "Why not ask for help? You have a whole kingdom that wants to support you." Lyra considered his words. She had been so focused on proving herself that she hadn't thought about how to involve others. "You're right. I need to bring people together. Maybe we can hold a town hall meeting to discuss everyone's ideas." Absolutely. And I can help you prepare for it, Ethan replied, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. With renewed energy, they brainstormed ideas for the town hall. They talked late into the night, laughing and planning how to create a space where everyone could share their thoughts. Lyra felt the distance between them shrink as they worked together, their shared vision bringing them closer. As the town hall approached, Lyra threw herself into preparations. She invited citizens from all walks of life, encouraging them to share their experiences and ideas. She wanted to create a platform where everyone felt seen and heard. On the day of the event, a palace courtyard was filled with people. Lyra stood at the front, her heart racing with both excitement and anxiety. She glanced at Ethan, who stood next to her, offering silent support. His presence made her feel stronger. "Welcome, everyone," Lyra began, her voice steady. "I'm so grateful you all came today. I want to hear your stories and ideas. We can make Zenthara a place where everyone feels valued, regardless of their background." As she spoke, she could see the faces of her people lighting up with hope. They began to share their thoughts, expressing their dreams and concerns. Lyra listened intently, encouraging them to speak freely. With each story, she felt her connection to her people deepen, and she realized she was not alone in her journey. After the meeting, people approached her to thank her for creating such a welcome. As the weeks rolled on, Princess Lyra found herself embracing her role as a leader more than ever. A town hall meeting had sparked a wave of enthusiasm among her people. They began to share their ideas and talents freely, and slowly but surely, Zenthara transformed into a more inclusive community. Yet, despite the progress, Lyra often found herself feeling distant from Ethan. While they worked together closely during the day, the nights felt quiet and lonely. Ethan would return to his quarters after their meetings, and Lyra would sit in her garden, staring at the stars. She loved their conversations, but she missed the spontaneity of their time together when he had first arrived. She wanted to create more memories with him, but the responsibilities of her royal duties often kept them apart. One evening, as she watched the sunset paint the sky in brilliant colors, Lyra felt a familiar pang of sadness. She picked up her communicator and sent Ethan a message. "Can we talk tonight? I want to plan something special for us." Ethan replied quickly, "Of course, I'd love that. Let's meet in the garden at sunset." As the sun dipped below the horizon, Lyra felt a flutter of excitement. She arranged the garden with soft lights and colorful flowers, hoping to create a warm and inviting atmosphere. When Ethan arrived, he looked around with a smile that made her heart race. "Wow, Lyra, this is beautiful," he said, taking in the scene. "I wanted to do something nice for us," she replied, her cheeks flushing. "I've missed our time together." They sat on a bench surrounded by the soft glow of lights, the scent of flowers filling the air. "What did you want to talk about?" Ethan asked, his expression curious. "I want us to reconnect," Lyra said, her voice earnest. "I feel like we've been so focused on our work that we haven't had time to just enjoy each other's company. I miss the fun we had when you first came here." Ethan nodded, understanding the depth of her feelings. "I miss that too. Let's make time for adventures, just like before. We can explore the hidden places of Zenthara together." Lyra's heart lifted at the suggestion. "That sounds amazing. I'd love to show you my favorite spots. There's a beautiful waterfall not far from here. We could have a picnic there." "Perfect. Let's go this weekend," Ethan replied, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "It'll be nice to take a break from everything." As they planned their adventure, Lyra felt the distance between them shrink. They shared stories and laughter, reminiscing about the moments that had brought them together. Lyra realized that their bond was not just about their shared goals. It was also about friendship and genuine care for one another. When the Weekend arrived. Lyra woke up early, filled with anticipation. She packed a basket with delicious food, including fruits and pastries. She wanted everything to be perfect. As she prepared, she felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Would the day go as planned? When Ethan arrived, he was beaming with enthusiasm. "Are you ready for our adventure?" he asked, his energy infectious. "Absolutely," Lyra replied, feeling her worries melt away. They set off together, walking through the lush landscapes of Xanthara. The sun shone brightly, and the birds sang cheerful songs. As they walked, they talked about their dreams and aspirations, sharing hopes for the future. Lyra felt freer with each step, the weight of her responsibilities lifting slightly. After a while, they reached the waterfall. The water cascaded down the rocks, creating a beautiful mist that sparkled in the sunlight. Lyra's heart swelled with joy as she watched Ethan's eyes light up at the sight. "This is incredible," he exclaimed. "I can't believe I've never seen this before." They spread out a blanket and unpacked their picnic. As they ate, they laughed and shared stories, each moment bringing them closer together. Lyra felt a sense of peace and happiness that she hadn't experienced in a long time. After they finished eating, Ethan suggested they explore the area around the waterfall. They climbed up the rocky path, their laughter echoing in the air. As they reached the top, they were greeted with a breathtaking view of the valley below. The vibrant colors of Xanthara stretched out before them, a beautiful tapestry of green, blue, and gold. "Wow, Lyra, this is amazing," Ethan said, standing beside her. "You've got such a beautiful world here." Lyra smiled, feeling a swell of pride. "And I want to share it with you. You've shown me that I can be more than just a princess. I can be a friend and a leader." As they stood together at the edge of the cliff, Lyra felt a sense of determination. She wanted to inspire her people to embrace their uniqueness, just as Ethan had inspired her. "Let's make a pact," she said, turning to Ethan with a serious expression. "We'll always support each other, no matter what." Ethan nodded, his eyes earnest. "Absolutely. I'm here for you, Lyra, always." With a newfound sense of purpose, they made their way back down, energized by their adventure. The day had reminded Lyra of the importance of friendship and connection. She realized that despite the challenges she faced, she was never truly alone. With Ethan by her side, she felt ready to take on anything. As they returned to the palace, Lyra had an idea. "Let's invite more people to join us on our next adventure. We can create a community outing where everyone can explore the beauty of Xanthara together." Ethan's face lit up. "That's a fantastic idea. We can encourage everyone to find their favorite spots and share them with others." Lyra felt a rush of excitement. Together, they could create a vibrant community that celebrated individuality and connection. They spent the evening planning their next event, dreaming of ways to bring the people of Xanthara together. That night, as Lyra lay in bed, she thought about the day. She felt a sense of hope blooming inside her. The distance that had once felt so heavy was now filled with laughter and shared dreams. Lyra realized that her bond with Ethan had grown deeper, and she cherished their friendship more than ever. With a smile on her face, she whispered to herself, "Will you be mine?" The universe seemed to echo her words, filling her heart with the promise of endless possibilities. Together, Lyra and Ethan were ready to forge a brighter future, where love and friendship would always shine brightly. Asterisk, as the days turned into weeks, Princess Lyra and Ethan worked hard to prepare for their community outing. They wanted to create an event that would not only celebrate Xanthara's beauty, but also strengthen the bonds among the people. However, amidst the excitement, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling of distance that sometimes crept back into her heart. Despite their shared goals, there were moments when she felt like they were living in two separate worlds. Ethan had his life on Earth, and while he was dedicated to helping her, she worried he might one day choose to return home for good. The thought made her anxious, and she wished she could express her feelings without sounding needy. One evening, as they worked late into the night, Lyra decided to bring up her concerns. They were in her garden, surrounded by the soft glow of lanterns and the sweet smell of blooming flowers. "Ethan," she began, her voice a bit shaky, "can we talk? About something important?" "Of course, Lyra. What's on your mind?" he replied, looking at her with concern. Taking a deep breath, she continued, "I love what we're doing together, but sometimes I feel like I'm losing you to your life on Earth. I don't want to be left behind." Ethan's expression softened. "Lyra, I'm not going anywhere. Synthara is special to me because you're here. I care about you and your people. You've shown me a world I never knew existed." Lyra felt a wave of relief wash over her, but the insecurity lingered. "I just wish I could do more to keep you here. I want you to know how much you mean to me." Ethan smiled gently, reaching for her hand. "You mean a lot to me too. And it's not just about being here physically. It's about what we're building together. You're changing Xanthara for the better." As they talked, Lyra felt a sense of hope blooming in her heart. Perhaps she didn't need to fear losing Ethan. Instead, she could focus on building a future together. They had plans for the community outing, and she wanted to make it unforgettable. The day of the event arrived, and the courtyard of the palace was buzzing with excitement. People gathered to share their favorite spots around Xanthara, each bringing food, crafts, and stories. Lyra felt a sense of pride as she watched her people come together, their laughter filling the air. Ethan stood by her side, helping to organize the activities. He encouraged everyone to participate and share their unique experiences. As he moved around the courtyard, Lyra admired how effortlessly he connected with the people. He had a way of making everyone feel valued and included. "Look at how happy they are," Ethan said, watching a group of children dancing and playing games. "This is what community is all about." Lyra nodded, her heart swelling with joy. "I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you for believing in me." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the courtyard, Lyra took a moment to reflect. She realized that the distance she had felt was slowly fading away. Their shared experiences had strengthened their bond, and she felt more connected to Ethan than ever. "Let's gather everyone for a group photo," Ethan suggested, and Lyra agreed eagerly. They wanted to capture this moment of unity, a symbol of their efforts to bring people together. As they posed for the photo, Lyra felt a rush of happiness. As the days turned into weeks, the excitement for the upcoming cultural exchange event grew. Princes Lyra and Ethan worked tirelessly to bring together the people of Xanthara and Earth. They envisioned a day filled with laughter, learning, and connection. However, amid their preparations, Lyra couldn't shake a nagging feeling of distance creeping back into her heart. Even though they spent so much time together planning, there were moments when Lyra felt a gap between them. Ethan had his own life on Earth, and while he was committed to helping her, she worried that he might choose to return home someday. Would he leave her behind after everything they had built together? The fear sat heavily in her chest. One evening, after a long day of organizing, Ethan suggested they take a break and visit the grove of ancient trees again. "We could use some fresh air and a little inspiration," he said, his eyes sparkling. With enthusiasm, Lyra agreed, grateful for the chance to escape the pressure of their responsibilities. As they walked along the familiar path, the gentle breeze played with her hair, and she felt her worries begin to fade. The grove welcomed them with its serene beauty, and she felt a sense of peace wash over her. When they reached the grove, they settled beneath the largest tree. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating a beautiful pattern on the ground. Lyra took a deep breath, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. "This place always makes me feel better," she said with a smile. Ethan nodded. "It's magical. Here, it reminds me of the beauty we're trying to share with everyone." As they sat together, Lyra found herself wanting to open up about her feelings. "Ethan," she began hesitantly, "I've been feeling a bit distant lately. Even though we're working together, sometimes I worry that you might leave Xanthara and not come back." Ethan turned to her, his expression serious. "Lyra, I understand why you feel that way, but I want you to know that I'm committed to this project and to you. You've become a huge part of my life." "I appreciate that," Lyra said, her heart racing. "But sometimes I feel like I'm just a princess to you, not a friend or partner. I want to make sure we're in this together, not just for the event, but for everything." Ethan smiled gently. "You're so much more than a princess to me. You're my friend, and I care about you deeply. I don't want you to feel alone." In this, Lyra felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you for saying that. I really value our friendship, and I want to build something meaningful together." As they talked, the tension between them began to dissolve. They shared their hopes and fears, and Lyra realized that their bond was growing stronger. They were not just partners in a project. They were true friends who supported each other. After their heart-to-heart, they returned to the palace, filled with renewed energy. They spent the next few days finalizing their plans for the cultural exchange. Lyra felt more determined than ever to make the event a success, not just for herself, but for all the people they were bringing together. On the day of the event, the palace courtyard buzzed with excitement. Colorful decorations adorned the area, and the air was filled with the scent of delicious food from different cultures. People from Xanthara and Earth mingled, sharing stories and laughter. Lyra felt a sense of pride as she watched everyone connect. Ethan moved through the crowd, engaging with the guests and encouraging them to share their experiences. He had a gift for making people feel included and valued, and Lyra admired him for it. She joined him, eager to hear the stories of others and to see the magic of connection unfold. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the courtyard, Lyra stood on a small platform to address the crowd. She felt a mix of excitement and nerves. "Thank you all for being here today. This event is about celebrating our differences and finding common ground. Together, we can create a brighter future." The crowd cheered, and Lyra felt a rush of joy. She looked to Ethan, who stood at the front, beaming with pride. In that moment, she realized that their efforts were paying off. They had created a space where everyone felt welcome, and it was beautiful to witness. After her speech, Lyra stepped down from the platform, her heart full. She and Ethan moved through the crowd, soaking in the laughter and joy around them. People were sharing food, dancing, and forming friendships that crossed cultural boundaries. But as the evening wore on, Lyra felt a familiar weight in her chest. While she loved seeing everyone connect, she couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to deepen her bond with Ethan. She wanted to let him know how much he meant to her. As the festivities continued, she pulled Ethan aside, away from the noise. "Can we talk for a minute?" she asked, her heart racing. "Of course, Lyra. What's on your mind?" He replied, his expression attentive. Taking a deep breath, she said, "I want to thank you for everything you've done. You've been such a support, and I want to make sure we're both committed to this partnership, whatever that means for you." Ethan smiled, his eyes warm. "I'm all in, Lyra. I want to build something meaningful with you, not just for this event, but for our future." Lyra felt a rush of hope. "I want that too. You've changed my life in so many ways, and I don't want to lose that connection." Ethan stepped closer, his gaze serious. "You won't lose me. I'm here for you, and I believe in what we're creating together." As they stood there, Lyra felt a sense of clarity. She realized that their friendship was not just about being physically close. It was about understanding, support, and hope. They were partners in every sense, ready to face the future together. As the night deepened and the stars twinkled overhead, Lyra felt a warmth in her heart. She took Ethan's hand, squeezing it gently. "Let's keep building this together, no matter where life takes us." "Always, Lyra," he replied, his voice soft and reassuring. In that moment, Lyra knew that the distance she had once feared was now a bridge to something beautiful. With Ethan by her side, she felt empowered to embrace the challenges ahead, confident that their bond would always guide them home. As they returned to the celebration, Lyra felt a sense of hope blooming within her. Together, they would show everyone that love and friendship could conquer any distance. With a smile on her face, she whispered to herself, "Will you be mine?" The universe seemed to echo her words, promising a future filled with endless possibilities. The cultural exchange event had been a huge success. Princess Lyra watched as people from Xanthara and Earth danced, laughed, and shared stories. The courtyard was alive with joy, and she felt a sense of pride swell in her heart. However, even amidst the celebration, she couldn't shake the feeling of distance that occasionally crept back in. After the event, things settled into a routine. Lyra and Ethan continued to work together, planning future gatherings and initiatives to strengthen the bond between their worlds. Yet, as the days passed, Lyra felt a growing sense of anxiety. Ethan was still committed to Xanthara, but she worried that he might return to Earth for good. What if their friendship faded once he left? One evening, as they sat in the garden surrounded by the soft glow of lanterns, Lyra decided it was time to confront her feelings. She had been holding on to these thoughts for too long. "Ethan," she began, her voice steady but soft, "can we talk about what's next for us?" Ethan turned to her, his expression open and attentive. "Of course, Lyra. What's on your mind?" Taking a deep breath, she continued, "I've loved working with you and sharing these experiences, but I sometimes feel like we're not as close as we could be. I want to make sure we're both on the same page about our future." Ethan nodded, understanding her concerns. "I feel that too sometimes. We've built something special, and I don't want to lose that connection. But I also understand we both have our own lives and responsibilities." Lyra's heart sank at his words. "I know we have our own paths, but I want to find a way to keep our bond strong, no matter what happens." Ethan leaned closer, his gaze sincere. "I want that too. You've become such an important part of my life, and I don't want to let distance change that." Feeling encouraged, Lyra suggested, "What if we set aside time each week just for us? We could talk, share our thoughts, and make sure we're still connected, no matter where we are." Ethan smiled, his eyes brightening. "I love that idea. It'll give us a chance to stay close, even with everything going on around us." With their plan in place, Lyra felt a wave of relief. She knew that this commitment would help strengthen their bond. They spent the next few days discussing their ideas for the future, brainstorming ways to continue building a bridge between Xanthara and Earth. As they worked, Lyra began to feel more hopeful. She realized that while they may be physically apart, at times their connection could still flourish. They could support each other, share dreams, and inspire one another, no matter the distance. One sunny afternoon, Lyra invited Ethan to join her for a picnic at the waterfall. She wanted to enjoy the beauty of their surroundings and deepen their bond. As they set up the picnic blanket, she felt a sense of excitement. This was her favorite place, and she wanted to share it with him. "This spot is amazing," Ethan sighed, looking around in awe. "I can see why you love it here." Lyra smiled, feeling a sense of belonging. "It's my little escape. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, I